Good afternoon and welcome. At this time, I'd like to call to order our Suffolk City Council work session. We have one topic for discussion this afternoon, which is Suffolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority status update. Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. With us this afternoon is Ms. Patricia Tyus, Suffolk's Redevelopment and Housing Authority's Executive Director and CEO. Ms. Tyus will provide an update on SRHA's recent activities and on their recently received SPARC grant. Patricia?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to thank you all first for allowing me to provide you with an update about the hard and exciting work that the Suffolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority is doing. I do apologize for my the last one we were supposed to attend, and I got the time mixed up. I do apologize to everyone, but I'm glad that I'm here today. First of all, let me introduce myself. There's some of you that I haven't connected with, and so I just want to tell you who I am. I'm Patricia Tyus, the person that the Board of Commissioners of the Suffolk Redevelopment Housing Authority selected to run the operations and to represent the agency. I have multiple degrees and over 24 years of experience in the chosen industry between government, local municipalities, county government, and even the federal level. I have over 20 years of experience. My goal now is to serve the community of Suffolk well while making the individuals and families attached to SHRA my first priority. With that said, let me allow me to share with you some of the exciting work that I just mentioned that we have accomplished since I've been here on April the 10th of 2024. Currently, we have one vacancy on the board that will be seeking to be filled. Mr. Clarence Ash has moved out of the district, and so we'll be looking to requesting to fill that vacancy. But this is a list of the board members. Our legal support is done through Crenshaw, Ware, and Martin, where Mr. Darius Davenport is the attorney for the Housing Authority. Our key accomplishment, of course, one is that they had operated for over a year with an interim executive director, and on April the 10th of 2024, they hired me to come in and take his place. We have a new board member that filled the vacancy that was left due to Ben Fitzgerald leaving, and now we have a second vacancy that the first vacancy when I first got here was still vacant. Now we have a second one. We have increased our leasing percentages by 10%. When I initially got here, we had over 34 vacant units that had been vacant for over 60 days. We were able to aggressively lease them, and we've leased, when I counted last, we had leased 24 vacancies between all our communities. Two of our communities is sitting at 100% occupied. One of them is only occupied at 88%, and that's due to the fact that we have some units there that are uninhabitable. And so we're working to make sure that all the leases at Hoffler, that's the one we have the concern with, all the units are leased except for those that we have to look for a long-term solution for. Annually, our policies and procedures have been updated. Annually, we're required to look at our policies and procedures, particularly the administrative plan and what is called the ACOP, which is the Admission and Contingency Occupancy plan. We have to look at it annually to make sure that it has the most recent information, and it's no small task. It's usually over a 600-page document that we have to review all of our policies. We actually have accomplished that for our administrative plan, and in October we will have will present to our board the ACOP for the public housing side. The administrative plan is what governs the HCV program. The ACOP, what we call ACOP, it governs the public housing program. And again, it's a pretty tedious task to update that annually with all the requirements that HUD is requiring us to do, all the changes that they're implementing. We have new Inspire inspection that HUD is requiring. So the way we previously did our inspections, they have totally revamped that program. The way we look at our inspections, the way we actually go out and conduct them. They also have what they call HOPMA, which is the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act. It actually came out in 2016. And so we are working aggressively to implement all of the changes that HUD has brought to surface as a result of that act. We have what is called BABA, which is Buy America, Build America, Buy America. We're required to also tweak our procedures and policy to incorporate that as well. And so with all of that, we've been aggressively changing everything that we do at the Housing Authority. We have secured over $20 million for the current fiscal year funding. Most of that funding is typical funding that you use to run the operation of an agency. However, we were also able to secure by way of a grant the SPARC fund, which is $2 million that has been given to that has been granted to the Housing Authority to run a program. The SPARC program is a program that we will use to make buying a house more affordable. What it's going to allow us to do is buy down the mortgage, the mortgage rate, that's what I want to call it, the mortgage rate by 1% so that the house becomes more affordable to the clients. Particularly to first-time home buyers is the ones that will be looking to give those loans. They'll be able to get those loans through the SPARC program. I wanted you all to see, we recently made site improvements to Calander, Bishop, Meadows. This is what I have a comparison of what it used to look like. We updated the siding, we did the windows, and so the second picture, the one on the right, is what it looked like now. So we will be making continual site improvements to sustain the current aging stock that we have. We'll be making sure that we make them some of the best units that are in the community. This is another picture. One of the things that we did, we alternated the siding colors so that it give a different appearance in the site. Over at Corey Park, we have put on a new roof as well as HVAC systems to make they needed a little update. We had a number of problems that was coming through our capital funds of the HVAC system, so we decided to totally replace those systems. We recently, since I actually put this presentation together, we received additional funding to put monitors, carbon monoxide monitors in all our units as well. We received a small grant from our capital funds from HUD, the federal government, so we'll be replacing all of the monitors that are currently in the properties. Let's talk about safety. We currently have a contract with the police department for additional patrol. So they are actually doing, by way of the relationship that we have with them, they actually patrol our units, our properties on a continual basis. We are also working to reinstate what is called the ban list. They call it, the Office of Police Officers would refer to it as the trespass list. And what that looked like is once they trespass somebody off of the property, we would maintain a list and keep them off of the property for a certain amount of time. So we talked, since I've been here, I've talked with one of the officers regarding us getting the paperwork flowing between the Housing Authority and the Police Department so that we can implement the trespass list. Since I've been here since April, we were not able to find a current list, but we are working to find a current list and then to be able to add individuals that they trespass to that list so we have that further protection of keeping our properties safe. We are turning our vacant units quicker, and part of that looked like by us turning the units, it doesn't leave room for squatters or individuals to be in the property doing. I've had, not necessarily here, but I've had situations where a unit being vacant, they break in, they're doing drugs in the unit. So we want to make sure that we turn our units as quick as possible so that we can eliminate that and won't have that problem here in Suffolk. That was one of the first things when I came on. I wanted to make sure that we move the vacancies along because I know the potential of what could happen leaving the units vacant for a long period of time. We're also working with our clients to make sure that unauthorized individuals are not living in the units. Those individuals that have, we call them stowaways, or individuals that are not on the lease, we're working to make sure that that is not occurring. That occurs by us doing inspections, by complaints. Anytime someone report that there's a problem with someone staying there, we actually take action to make sure that those individuals are not in the property. We're working on a new camera system. Our current camera system has not operated the way I desire for it to operate since I've been here. So the desire is that we will modernize it and get new cameras throughout our sites as well as at our central location, the central office. We're working on better lighting throughout the sites and removing trees and shrubs that may hinder or reduce the amount of lighting that shine through the property, as well as create those corners or those places where individual can hide. So we're working to remove trees and shrubs as well. I recently received a request to research stickers for the vehicles. We are looking into that to see if it's an option or what we can do to provide some type of identification of who should be in the property, whose cars should be parked on the property. We are working on that per the request that I received. Moving forward, over the next 30 to 60 days, we are trying to establish a plan for the Hopler units. It's a total of 14 now vacant that have the foundation issue. We've been working with a third-party contracting company to come up with a plan. I've actually recently introduced that plan, the options, not the actual plan, the options that we can take to my board. Once we finish reviewing it on that level, we'll make a selection of the direction we'll move in. And that may look like us totally tearing down that particular site and moving to another site, or tearing down, building on the current site. So those are the options. It's just a matter of which funds and which tools we will use to actually do that. HUD has a couple of tools that we can actually use, so we're looking at which one we'll actually use. I presented it to the board. We'll make a strong decision and then move forward from there. Our homebuyer counseling program had not been in use in 3 years. When I got here in April, we are working to reinstate it. We will use this as an infrastructure to start using housing choice vouchers for home buyership. We don't have the infrastructure in place. Several people since I've been here have asked me about a home buyer program. Currently, we do not have that infrastructure in place, but we're starting with bringing our home buyer counseling program, reinstating it, and then from there we'll look at using the voucher for home ownership. When I arrived at the agency, we had 5 long-term vacancies on unemployment. They have now, 4 of them has now been filled. We are working on the other one. We're having a little trouble finding individuals that can do the maintenance work at the salary that we allow. So one of the other things that we're doing is working to bring up our salaries so that we can retain good staff and keep the staff. We are assisting to bring more affordable partnerships. We are working with several in the community. Some we have provided what is called project-based voucher, or PVVs is what we refer to be a part of the project that they're doing. But the goal in the future is to work along side by side with a developer who can assist us with getting the tax credits so that they can build, and we as an agency can also invest and receive development fees. So we are working to see if there's someone, a partnership that we can do in the future with the tax credit. The Housing Authority has an ability to get a different level of tax credit than what other people can. We can get the 9%. So in partnership with an agency, we may be able to do that. So we're looking at whatever partner we can establish in the future. As I said, HUD has introduced several new requirements. We are implementing the Inspire requirement. We will have our first inspection using the Inspire model. October the 23rd we will have it at Corey Park. They'll be doing the inspection under the new program. We are also working to put in GFIs and electric outlets to replace them throughout all of our sites. We are doing internal upgrades and painting to our Finney Avenue property. We have a partnership that we work in the community with a partner to run the Finney Avenue property. We are working to upgrade that along with the other properties that we have. While we're doing Calander Bishop, I equally want the Finney property to look as good as what our other sites, so we're working on that. We're putting new smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide so that we're in compliance with the new HUD requirement. They've changed the requirement even on the smoke detector, so we are working to update all our units with the new requirements of HUD. We are also reestablishing the Empowerment Foundation. Previously, they had a non-for-profit arm that I don't know that it ever got to the point that they intended for it to do, but my goal is that we will be able to use it to bring about more affordable housing and to service the individuals that are attached with the Housing Authority. We are reorganizing the organization. The staffing will look a little different internally. We are establishing a resident service department. We currently now receive 2 sets of grant funding. One is called the Ross Grant, and one is called the FSF, which is Family Self-Sufficiency Grant. We receive those funds now, and we have individuals dedicated to doing resident services. We're going to develop a full department so that we can continue to partner with people in the community and organizations in the community to bring better programs, more programs to the residents that we serve. We hired a compliance manager, and that compliance manager is looking at our internal procedures, looking at our files, looking at our processes as a whole. We received a substandard previously. We also are in a situation where the Housing Choice Voucher Program is in shortfall. The substandard is as a result of us not leasing units. That's another reason why we have really driven toward making sure they're leased. We lost scoring. They scored us less because we were not leasing the units, and as a result of not releasing the units, we were not spending our capital funds. So the goal is to eliminate that substandard as quick as we can. And then we are also working in conjunction with a team from HUD, Washington, D.C., to cure our shortfall. The shortfall is as a result of some of the processing where some of the vouchers that we established, the White Marsh Eagle Landing, which has project-based vouchers in it. Somewhere down the line, they were not integrated into our accounting system like they needed to. And so when they all emerged into the accounting system, it threw us into shortfall. So we're working to cure that as well with a HUD Washington, D.C. Team, where we're meeting at least once a month to make sure that we can continue to house individuals at the level that we are housing them. I do apologize. I was a little nervous being in front of you all the first time. My goal will be to update you at least twice a year so that you know continuously what the Housing Authority is doing. Are there any questions?
Great. Thank you, Ms. Tires. Council, questions or comments? Councilman Bennett?
Thank you for your presentation, and I think it was very, very informative. And I think you came in with boots on the ground, and you start running. I've seen a big difference in the agency since you've been here, and I've heard nothing but good things happening over there. I did have a question, though, about, I know with the Hoffler problem that you're having there, and I know in Newport News and Norfolk and Portsmouth and all, they are coming in where they're going into some of those houses like that and tearing the whole area down and rebuilding. Is there some way HUD can come in and assist the Housing Authority with that type of funding to do some of the same thing with Hoffler or some of the other areas that we have public housing in?
Yes, sir. That's part of what we're researching and what we presented to the board, a decision to be made as to which direction we want to go to do so. We also have a $2 million grant that we received from the state, which will pay for some of the testing, some of the site plans and all of that stuff that we have to do. So yes, sir, there is an avenue that we can choose through HUD to do just that, and that's what we're working on.
Well, I thank you. I think that would be great because Eagle Landing, I think when you went in there, and, well, prior to you coming here, that was a good example of what can happen with some of the public housing to upgrade it and bring it up. So that's the reason why I asked the question, that we continue to look at trying to get some funding to do that in those areas. Thank you very much for your presentation.
That particular property was done through what's called RAD, the Residence Assistance Program, which is a HUD program. We are looking at that to see if that will be the option or if it's just a regular demo application is what we would do. So we will know, probably the first of the year, we'll be moving forward with the plan, whatever plan they put together and decide on.
Well, with that and the improvements that was done there at Parker Riddick, I think you really changed the community at large a lot. And I haven't heard as many complaints from that area as I have been getting in the past. So I think you're doing, the board and you all are doing something great over there in that area. So I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Councilman Williams.
Yes, Ms. Titus, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to our city. I just want to commend you on you coming to the Suffolk Redevelopment Housing Authority with boots on the ground. Doing a great job thus far. In particular, I was looking at the work that has been performed over in Carolina Bishop. It's great. That facade, that new look is appealing. And it's something that's been well needed in the past, and I'm sure, I hope you guys continue to do this. However, my question is, I'm looking at the exterior at Hoffler. What kind of interior work has been done in those properties, or have there been any? improvements on the inside.
Are you asking about all the properties
No,
or just Hoffler?
No, I'm talking about Kalana Bishop in particular.
Right. We
Yes.
do it in phases. So we attack the exterior phase first. Most of the time, when the unit turn, we actually go in and totally gut it or whatever's needed to do to make it presentable on the inside. I've actually toured several of those units myself. I didn't want to be sitting in the office making decision on something that I had never seen. So I go in periodically with the maintenance to take a look. I know that once a person has been in a unit for some have been there 5, some has been there 10 years. So we know that there's some updates that need to occur for individuals that have been there long-term, not just when we turn the unit. So we will be looking at doing some interior on some things on the inside once we finish the outside, once we finish the roof at Quarry Park and the HVACs. We will be looking at move to another phase of what we're gonna do. Hoffler, we won't put as much attention to it because we don't know what we're gonna do with it in the future, but we will make sure that we keep the safe, decent, affordable housing there at Hoffler.
Okay, so as it relates to Hoffler, what's the total number of units in Hoffler?
80.
80. And out of the 80, how many is just beyond repair?
14.
14 out of 80. Okay.
Our percentage of, while we're 100% leased at the other 2 sites, we run about 88% leased at Hoffler. But again, the problem is those units with the foundation issues.
Okay.
And we check those I check them on a weekly basis, so.
Okay. And over in, okay. All right, that's good. Well, thank you again. Our hats off to you. Again, welcome to our city, and I hope you'll be here for a long time. All right, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fawcett.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I see you on the Public Safety Committee side sitting. He's also with us. I just would like to say it's a wonderful thing to be able to get this SPARC grant at $2 million to help, to provide mortgage loans or get that program up where there's some housing sponsoring going on. I think that's a good, big lift. I mean, that will help a lot of folks, hopefully. I know that you talked a lot about requirements that HUD keeps throwing down on you. And, just a couple, the GFI system, outlet replacements, the interior painting and upgrades, new smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. When they throw these requirements on you, I mean, that's an expense there that comes along with that requirement. So I'm just kind of curious, where are you built in, or how are they providing you some assistance to help with those expenses? Because when you do all these houses, that's going to be a pretty good sized cost. So I just kind of wonder if it's built into your operating budget, or is that something you've thought about building in, or is it something they're funding to help you? Because you can put all the requirements in the world out there, but it takes money to get it there.
2 things. The rules, when they changed them, they do not occur overnight. I was talking about the HOTMA. It started in 2016. We are just now getting to the point where we are addressing those. It was supposed to go live on January the 1st. They come back and said, no, we won't go live on January the 1st of 2025. So they keep pushing it out and out further as a result of the housing authorities sometimes push back, sometimes give additional communication to HUD. They usually value the communication, go back into the boardroom and come out with a different plan. We receive annually capital funds. Those capital funds is to maintain the bricks and mortars. So we do have a pot of funding that that is set aside strictly for the bricks and mortar. What we have to do diligently as an agency is make sure that we're incorporating a full plan on what we're going to do each year so that we maintain the buildings and maintain the bricks and mortars in a good manner. Sometimes housing authorities don't always do that as well as what they should. We do work on a continuous basis. I have one staff dedicated to the community development, to capital funds. And as a result of that, we're communicating all the time about what our next step, what we're going to do next, So they do provide a set of funding. Does it cure all? It does not stretch across all the needs of a housing authority. However, we just continue to plan and do things in stages and in phases.
Well, thank you for that, and I want to thank you for coming here and giving the update today, because, you know, it's great to hear of the things that are going on in other areas of the housing side. And, you know, I sat on redevelopment housing as a liaison for a while. Great group of people. They do a lot of good things to help people in need that need a place to live. And I only say continue to do what you're doing. You're doing a great job. You came in, it appears you're really going at it to try to correct some of the things that need to be corrected, or to improve on some of the things that are out there. So thank you again. I hope to see you again in the next go-around for the next update, because I think you're going to even surprise us with more.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Rector?
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Tyus, for coming and giving us this excellent presentation, and welcome to the city of Suffolk. I will echo what the other council people have said. I think some of what we've got in here is showing some genuine, as my mother used to refer to it, stick-to-itiveness to get the job done. I guess, you know, kind of my basic question is, a lot of this is discussing, you know, sort of the condition of the units and whatnot. Do y'all maintain, I know you have a facilities list, but do y'all do an assessment of the facilities so that you kind of know and give yourself an idea of what maybe the next major project is going to be, so that maybe you don't get surprised as much when things come up? You know, sort of like what the school board does with their condition assessment of the base of, you know, the schools, and do they give you a report so that you know where you might be able to best allocate your funds to try to keep, I mean, I know it's a big job, but to try to keep all the units to where, you know, basically the habitable, you know, they're not like the ones over there at the Hoffler where you got the foundation issues that make them uninhabitable?
Yes, sir, we do. Annually, we're required to do an inspection. That inspection that I talked about, the Inspire inspection that's coming up at Corey Park, that's where they actually send a HUD representative to go through the property. So yes, every housing authority are required to do continual inspections of their properties. There is also what is called a physical need assessment. We had one done in 2022 related to Hoffler, so that we could see all the things that need to be done at Hoffler. When I talked about the $2 million grant that the state of Virginia gave us, part of what we're going to do with that is a physical needs assessment, so that we know everything that needs to be repaired at Hoffler. In order for HUD to give you funds, you have to meet a certain criteria of dilapidation in the units. And so the worse the unit is, the more money they give. So with that physical needs assessment, we'll know without a shadow of a doubt, not just the units that have a problem, but the entire property, what everything. They look at cracks in the bricks. They look at the foundation. They look at the streets. So we'll be doing a physical needs soon, and from that, we should know exactly the condition of everything in the property.
Okay. Kind of sounds like smart scale, doesn't it, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
You don't get any money until you got a problem that can't be fixed. So thank you for the update, and we look forward to your next one, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Ward?
Yes, sir. Yes, I would also like to say welcome to the city of Suffolk. And this presentation, which you have given us, it really impresses me that you came up here and said a lot of things what had to be done and what you intend to do. And I was more like thinking about the time that I have attended some of the meetings. Forgive me, I have not been attending them. Sometime I would attend them. But now you have encouraged me to start back attending these meetings. Not only that, going around and looking at some of the property. And seem like you are not going to wait to do things. You're going to get it done before it get dilapidated down or bad. So I'm very impressed how you schedule to do these things. So just keep doing. If the council help you anyway, just let us know, because you're encouraging me to go back and start looking, even attending these meetings. Thank you so much for your presentation. God bless.
Thank you.
Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Tyus, for your presentation. We really appreciate it. And, each person says something and all our brains get going. So the $2 million that you're being awarded, so you're saying that you're going to use that for first-time home buyers. So is that available now? And how do you find the folks that will qualify to get that 1% reduction in the mortgage rate?
Yes, it is available now. It's a part of the entire home counseling program that we're establishing. We have individuals out there that are making applications daily to purchase homes. Some will be referred, some will just know that the assistant, the state of Virginia does an awesome job of advertising the information. The realtors know that the mortgage officers know that this money is available, which agency have the money. So that's the type of thing that we'll use to advertise. We'll advertise on our website eventually and just continue to get the word out there so that anyone that wants to apply as a first-time home buyer can.
Great. Thank you very much.
Councilman Johnson.
Ms. Typhus, nice to have you here. We
Thank
appreciate it. And with the $2 million, too, one more question on that. Is there a time frame that you have to spend that money, or will there be more coming next year, or how does it typically work
So
for the SPARC grant?
there's $2 million that we have. The SPAR, that one, I don't remember seeing a time frame on it. We will continue to use it until the money is gone. We anticipate that it will spend quickly.
Yeah.
The other $2 million that we have to address Hoffler, we do have a time frame that's going to end, I believe, in 2025. So we're working to get some of those plans already down the pipe so that we can spend the money and the money does not go back to the state. Because when you're talking about a need assessment and all that is required for us demoing or readdressing, doing the RAP, that's the project that they did at Cypress Manor was a 10-year project. And so we are moving the first part of that, the first phase, getting the knowledge, doing the research, and we're going to do it by utilizing that grant money to push that project forward. So we have two pots that's $2 million. One has a time, one does not.
Okay, my other concern was with the safety. Quality of life is such an amazing thing, and I'm excited to see that you're really addressing that. It's particularly with the ban list of people that doesn't need to be on the property, the better lighting, the cameras. Thank you. I mean, I think it's something that's long overdue that we really react to quickly, and I'm sure the police department is helping you with that. But thank you. Thank you for what you do. We look forward to hearing from you twice a year at least. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Williams.
Yes, actually, I have one more question. As it relates to the need assessment inspections, when the inspections are done, is it done across the board, all the properties, or it's a selected one or two? How is that done? How do you determine?
We do a 100% inspection across all the properties. In addition to, we also on our HCV program do continual annual inspections. So both programs have inspections going annually.
Thank you.
Councilman Bennett.
I forgot to ask you this when we were talking earlier. But on the first-time home buyers, I think y'all used to have a class of people that you all was getting them qualified where they would be able to be first-time home buyers that live in public housing. Are y'all still doing that?
That's the program we're trying to reinstate. I found that it had not been utilized in 3 years.
Okay.
We were actually in jeopardy of losing the program. Since I've been here, I've been we had started implementing, reinstating the program, and I'd say maybe a month later, HUD came to us and said, hey, you all have the option to say you don't want this program, otherwise you need to move it forward. But we had already, when I got here, that was one of the things I started out the gate. And so we were in position to say, yes, we do want to reinstate this program, and this is what we put together. So we are working to get the very program that you're discussing reinstated.
Very good, because I know they used to have a good-sized class that they used to have there with people getting the credit good and all that stuff, the banks working with them. So that's a good program. Appreciate it.
We recently even changed one of our rooms to a conference room dedicated to the home counseling. So we're moving it forward and hope to see it up and running before the year end.
Councilman Johnson, your light's on. Would you like
Oh,
to
I'm
speak
sorry.
again?
No.
Councilman Rector.
Thank you, Ms. Tice. I'm a little bit like Councilperson Butler Barlow. I hear things that other people are saying, and it spurs me into another question. Would it be possible on your next report to get a facilities inventory? You know, there's Corey Park, 87 units, for instance, Hoffler Apartments, X number of units, just so that we got on one page have got a real clear understanding of exactly what you've got to wrap your arms around.
Sure. It's 80, 80, and 100. Corey
80.
Park has 100. Calanda Bishop and then Hoffler both have 80 units apiece. And then we have 204 units of project-based vouchers that the White Marsh Eagle Landing, that project has 204. But I will definitely provide that to you so you have it in writing.
Thank you so much, because I'm not going to remember what you just told me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tice, for your presentation. Obviously, Suffolk Redevelopment Housing provides an invaluable service to our city and our citizens, especially in today's economy and talking about affordable housing and having options for folks. And a lot of that directly or indirectly has an effect on crime also. I know that, well, first of all, I think you're doing a great job in that it seems like the first thing you did is identify and recognize the issues that you've got, and now you're addressing those issues that you inherited when you took on the job. And I'm also glad that Suffolk Redevelopment and Housing was added as a partner on our Public Safety Committee, and I appreciate you coming to our meetings. We talked about, in the meetings, we talked about lighting, and we've already have some of that pending. And we also talked, I believe, Councilman Bennett brought it up as far as decals, maybe that could identify vehicles that are owned by your residents. And I'd also like to have you, if you would, we talked about that also, is get the information out to your residents that they can use that public safety portal to report anything that they would like to report, from code violations to individuals that aren't supposed to be there, and they can do that 100% anonymously, which may make it a little bit easier. But I'm looking forward to everything that you're doing. I know you've got, in an organization like yours, you just have an unbelievable myriad of things that you have to navigate as far as bureaucracy is concerned. You know, because so much of your money is based on grants, and those grants are based on the information that you're able to provide. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, I look forward to seeing you in the Public Safety Committee meetings. Bring forward any suggestions that you may have so we can pursue them from there.
Yes, sir. The one that I took away that we're bringing, hopefully at the next meeting, is a relation to the camera. The cameras is one that I had discussed presenting as well. We also tested the link that you were talking about when we got back to the Housing Authority. I have the staff here that attended the meeting in my place.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a problem with it. We'll have to identify what it is and get back to you, but I believe the person wasn't able to get into it to see how to push forward the complaint. But we can discuss that with someone there at the city, the problems that we had trying to use it. So I know that there was an issue with it. We just had a few other things on our plate that we haven't got a chance to discuss it further.
Okay. All right, we'll check it out. If there's anything we need to do to help facilitate that or get the word out, let us know.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our work session for this afternoon. We do have need for a closed session. Madam Clerk, will you please read the motion for consideration?
Pursuant to Virginia Code Sections 2.2-3711A8 and A1, the consultation with legal counsel employed by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the legal advice of such counsel, and the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for appointment, and the assignment, appointment, and performance of specific public officers or appointees of the city, specifically the appointments as shown in the attached list for vacancies or term expirations for the Community Policy and Management Team, the Downtown Advisory Committee, the Early Childhood Development Commission, the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission, the Historic Landmarks Commission, the Human Services Advisory Board, the Local Board of Building Code Appeals, the Paul D. Camp Community College Board, the Sister Cities Commission, the Southeastern Virginia Alcohol Safety Action Program, the South Side Network Authority, the Suffolk Clean Community Commission, the Suffolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority, the Tidewater Youth Services Commission, and the Western Tidewater Regional Jail Board.
Councilmember Fawcett.
Move to approve.
Got a motion for approval from Councilman Fawcett. Councilman Williams.
Second it, Mayor.
Second from Councilman Williams. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 8-0.
This meeting stands adjourned, and we will reconvene at 6 p.m.